Hello, this is Matt on the Moon Lambo channel, and here's a headline that certainly caught my attention from crypto media outlet You Today. Ripple may put competitive pressure on traditional banking system, India fears. Where's the fear part coming from? Now look, if you're a remittance firm, if you're a bank, and you care about helping your customers move money around the planet, especially converting from one fiat currency to another, yeah, competitive pressure is going to be such that you're going to have to make some changes lest you be left in the dust and losing customers. Because here's the bottom line. Like, the train wreck that is the world of global cross-border payments, it's been in its current form, more or less, for a good 50 years, utilizing the SWIFT system, which requires pre-funding of accounts the world over. The only solution for settlement outside of that humans have devised to this point, requires a technologically sufficient, decentralized cryptocurrency that also has an open market price. And so, setting the technological factors aside, you have to get to the core issue of trust, or it's not going to be adopted for the long haul, plain and simple. Because you're not going to solve a global problem if there's a centralized coin that is going to benefit specific players. Because we already have instances where particular fiat currencies benefit certain players, and you want to recreate the same type of friction throughout the correspondent banking system, just with newer technology? The answer is clearly no. That doesn't work. And so, what you will find as you continue to see the crypto asset class mature, is that Ripple's technology will be adopted. I firmly believe that. And look, I don't have a financial background of any kind. I'm not offering financial advice, so don't buy or sell anything because of anything I say. All right, I'm just sharing my everyday Joe Schmo opinion here. But if you're competing in this space, if you have a competitor that's moving money in real time, converting from one fiat currency to another at almost no cost relative to what it was prior to this technology existing, and it consumes almost no energy to do so, what the hell do you think is going to happen? So yes, there are going to be competitive pressures, but that's a good thing. Whatever country you're talking about on the planet, whether it's India or United States or Australia or just, I don't care, pick your country, it doesn't matter. It's good for everybody that's trying to move money around the planet. So the primary reasons that we don't see it globally adopted to this point, even though it's no longer a science experiment, even though it isn't, the reason that you're not seeing it globally adopted is because there's not sufficient liquidity, and they're also, in some corners of the world, United States, there's not sufficient regulatory clarity on top of that. And so this is not the fault of Ripple, but as you continue to see the crypto asset class grow into additional trillions of dollars, because look, we've already breached the $2 trillion mark. Imagine when this asset class is worth tens of trillions, and then XRP is whatever percentage of that in terms of market cap, you can have a whole lot more corridors, right? And so that'll absolutely benefit India. And by the way, so India, it's one of those places where they've been hot and cold regarding crypto. It's like every other day, there's news coming out that India is either for crypto in general or against it and just trying to ban it, which won't work, by the way. It's going to backfire if they do that. But take a look at this headline from CNBC, which was from March 14th of this year. India to reportedly propose cryptocurrency ban, penalizing miners and traders. Now, this would be a problem for Ripple's adoption of XRP as a bridge currency for any corridor touching India. So, in terms of effectively, in a superior technological fashion, moving money around the planet, India would be left in the dust. Absolutely, if they do this, if they don't allow XRP to exist and be traded, because if you don't allow it to be traded, where's the liquidity? And you need liquidity, because it has to be for sale so that you can connect endpoints. So this would devastate, India's proposition for fixing the train wreck that is the world of global cross-border payments. The part that they're participating in anyway. And so take a look at this bullet point. India will propose a law banning cryptocurrencies, fining anyone trading in the country or even holding such digital assets, a senior government official told Reuters. The bill, one of the world's strictest policies against cryptocurrencies, would criminalize possession, issuance, mining, trading and transferring crypto assets, said the official who has direct knowledge of the plan. So that part right there, that would stop Ripple, not from being in business in the country. They could still do the messaging portion there, which doesn't utilize XRP. But then you'd have to settle using the old rails, the pre-funding of accounts, like with Swift. So you're only fixing part of the problem then. A huge part of the problem is the dormant capital that's laying around the world that frankly doesn't need to be. And consider that the smallest banks around the planet, they don't have money all over the world. They don't have enough money to have spread out all over the world. And so what they're doing is they're actually paying their larger bank competitors to tap into that existing liquidity to make these transactions possible. And so take a look at this now. Ernst Young has created a report for Competition Commission of India, CCI, about the blockchain technology, describing its weak and strong points and its potential for adoption in various spheres. It mentions Ripple as a potential competitor to the traditional banking system globally. And so they're this is a big firm, big accounting firm here. And so here's the actual document that they put together. What's this thing title here? What did they call it again? Sorry, it's at the top. Oh, I'm way down. Jeez. I didn't realize I was that far down. This thing's 49 pages. Anyway, a discussion paper on blockchain technology and competition. And so if you go to here, take a look at this. This is the key piece in this whole thing, I think, because there's a recognition that, that Ripple's making waves here. And either you're going to adopt XRP and you're going to have a future, or you're not going to adopt it and your competition is going to eat you. Because there is no other solution that humans have devised, not for the settlement portion. Now you have Swift with their GPI, which is their upgraded software. They have a superior messaging system compared to what they previously had. It's pretty well on par with what Ripple has, but they're not even trying to solve for the settlement portion because they haven't devised a solution for that, and they're not about to make a cryptocurrency, right? But anyway, check this out. India. This is from the piece now from Ernst Young. India may derive economic benefits from the use of blockchain technology. Research and development on blockchains, including their different applications, their scaling up and future developments are already underway. So let me pause right there. They're acknowledging here that India directly can benefit from cryptocurrency, from blockchain technology. They do cite Ripple right now. And so this is why I was saying just a few minutes ago, if India doesn't allow this, they're shooting themselves in the foot. It's not a good thing. And then they wrote the following. Theoretically, it is expected that once blockchain applications cross the pilot and proof of concept stage, they will compete with other systems/technologies providing similar services that may not be based on blockchain technology. So right there, they're just talking about companies like Ripple, for example, competing against the legacy financial system. That's it. And they continue now. This is already being experienced to some extent in the financial services sector where blockchain technology was first applied. An example could be the market for providing cross-border payments where traditional banks may have to compete with solutions such as Ripple. Well, how about that? Good to see some recognition here. And then they continue, which is a blockchain concept-based tool that enables users to make cross-border payments in various currencies. Ripple may put competitive pressure on the traditional banking system given that it is faster, cheaper, and transparent. And look, they're already putting pressure down because frankly, so a moment ago I cited that Swift has updated their messaging portion of their system with Swift GPI. True, they have. You know what prodded them to do that? Ripple. Until Ripple entered the scene and they caught wind of what Ripple was doing, they weren't trying to upgrade their systems at all. So what do you know? Competitive forces at work here. I'm all for it. But again, they don't have a solution for settlement. And so again, they're just utilizing pre-funding of accounts. That hasn't changed. That's what people were doing 50 years ago. They don't have a proposed solution. Nobody on the planet has a proposed solution. All these other systems that are helping money move around the planet, none of them have a global solution. You could say that some of them are a hair better. If they have their own like bank coin, which is basically effectively a stable coin that's backed by fiat currency, you could say that's better, but it only participates better within a closed system and those entities that are part of that closed system. And look, there are over 11,000 banks. You're not going to get 11,000 banks on the planet to agree on anything. Ask them what they all want to have for lunch. Somebody said cottage cheese. Like, I'm just saying, it's not going to happen, guys. It's just absolutely not going to happen. In fact, what you've seen happen is this has happened. There have just been competing systems proposed and being developed that have their own proposed closed coin cryptocurrency proposed, but call it cryptocurrency. It's I guess we want to call it that, but it's not a coin. If you're talking about like a bank coin, it's not something that has any sort of market value. It's not on an exchange. You can't buy it. It's just backed by fiat currency. And then so that's why only the participants within that closed system can use it. But anybody outside that system, you still need a bridge, which is where XRP can come into play here. But so you could argue that those closed systems are better for those participants than what you had in the legacy financial system. Fine, but you still need to have money somewhere. And like I'm not even. By the way, I'm saying you can argue that. I'm not saying I'm fully convinced of that, because you still have to have that trust. So it's not solving for trust. And you still have to have money somewhere in order for it to move around the planet. So, it's just like you're basically recreating the same friction today, but you're trying to have a bigger walled garden effectively. And so, like, you can argue that, but I always I tear those arguments down because they just don't ring true to me. If you want to solve the global problem, you need to have, like I said, a technologically sufficient decentralized cryptocurrency with an open market price. It needs to be jurisdictionless. And XRP most certainly has no jurisdiction. Nobody has any special permissions over the XRP ledger itself. And so either this is adopted, or we're going to use the same SWIFT system that we've been using for the last 50 years, because this is it. For settlement, there's not another solution. So for XRP holders, you sit here thinking like, what does that mean? Like, are humans, now that this technology does exist, is it just not going to be adopted? Because, I understand why it's slow pace right now. I understand that. I do believe that it will exponentially increase in terms of adoption as more time passes. But I get why it's slow right now. It's because there's just not sufficient liquidity and regulatory clarity. But do you think that's always going to be the case? Don't you think if something's truly offering utility, that humans are not going to abandon it? Don't you think? There are people that wanted all sorts of restrictions on the internet. There are people that wanted you to have a license to hop online and use the internet. Seriously. I kid you not. I highlighted that in a recent video. So, which would have crippled the way that the internet would have evolved. So thankfully, level heads prevailed, and now we've got proliferation of the internet of information. But now we're talking about the internet of value here. And so I have to believe that humans are not going to throw this by the wayside here. So what does that mean for XRP holders? What could XRP potentially be worth if you're talking decades down the road, it continues to be adopted? Well, given that almost no money's in it, that's why I personally believe that it could just be worth an absolute fortune compared to where it is. And look, this is not financial advice, and I could be wrong. I do feel strongly about my position, though. And you could keep this in mind. XRP ran from 20-something cents to almost $4, with roughly 0.001% of humans on the planet having ever held XRP at any point in time leading up to that point. So it would be less than 0.001% in all likelihood. And so that's with 1 million accounts, right? And so now you're talking about less than 3 million accounts. So it's more like today, somewhere in the neighborhood of I'm just ballparking it based on the information that's available. 0.0027% of humans on the planet have ever held XRP. And so if it could run to $4 with almost no human ever having even heard of the damn thing, what do you think is going to happen if XRP becomes the standard for moving money around the planet? Can you imagine the price of XRP decades from now if indeed it is globally adopted? And if it's not, I can't imagine what the technology would be that would come along that would make it irrelevant, because you're never going to get the whole world to agree to just use one cryptocurrency or one fiat currency. Now, if you could, yeah, the problem's solved and then you wouldn't need a bridge. But you're not going to get everyone to, that's an unsophisticated, childish point of view. Like the Bitcoin maxis out there that really believe that Bitcoin's going to be the one and then you just don't need XRP or anything else. No. Different people want different things. Different cryptocurrencies have different technical attributes, so you're never going to get a one-size-fits-all. You're not going to shoehorn, the Bitcoin cryptocurrency into every application around the planet. That's why I've joked. It's like, imagine if somebody asks, okay, what's your shoe size? And you say 13. And somebody's like, oh, okay, well, here's a size 6. Make it work. That's kind of what it's like here. It's stupid, but that's what it would be like. So outside of some sort of technology, I can't even fathom what it would be coming along. I can't. It's hard to believe that XRP is not going to be adopted, but let's see what happens. That's the gamble that I'm taking. That's the reason that I'm interested in holding XRP for the long haul. So anyway, I always think it's an interesting conversation to see stories like this pop up and talk about them. But I just think that the typical person has no earthly idea what they're holding when they hold XRP. I think the typical person, even if they hold XRP, they're probably not as interested as you listening to this video right now. They're probably just the typical speculator that maybe has some surface level knowledge of what's going on, if that. And I don't think that most people that have ever held XRP can articulate Ripple's use case of XRP as a bridge currency or any other use case necessarily. And that's a shame, because there's really something special here. So I'll wrap it there, though. I am not a financial advisor. Do not buy or sell anything because of anything that I say or write. That would be a very, very, very bad idea. Until next time, to the moon, Lambo.